This podcast is recorded on Gadigal, Turrbal and Yagara land. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians past and present and to any First Nations people listening. Hello and welcome to the Brand Odyssey podcast with me, Kylie Hannaford.
And me, Miranda Latin. We are a creative podcast that goes into what goes right and what goes wrong in the world of branding, design, and basically just overanalyzing all the stuff that humans put out into the world.
And this week we are on a make story. We call these stories makes and breaks. So this week we're on a make story with Miranda.
Yes, I have an icon that comes out of your very hometown, Kylie, Sydney.
Ooh.
So we'll be discussing that later. And as per usual, nothing is black and white. So this is a story that has tones of grey as far as make and break, highs and low, which we like.
Yeah, I always love where the make story has a little bit of a break or a triumph. And then I love when a break, has a little redemptive arc sometimes.
Yeah, just like our lives, which is what we will get into now. Things can go right and wrong all in one weekend. So first up, we like to just touch base and see how the last weeks have been. We call it personal makes and breaks. So Kylie, do you want to kick it off? What do you have this week?
Yes, I have a make this week. So regular listeners of the podcast would know that a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago, I profiled Oldsmobile and I was rudely called out for my Mazda, and it sent me on a journey, a new car journey. I did at the beginning of the year clock when I did the rego papers that it was 10 years old, and I was like, oh, you know what, it's probably time for a little upgrade. So I have been on a car journey. So a bit of a break. I was like, oh, should I do a break? I have been over analyzing which car to get, like a mofo. I'm having an existential crisis about it. It's a values exercise. It's a self-worth exercise.
It's a branding exercise.
It's a real journey. But the make in it is that I sold my car this weekend.
Woohoo!
Yes.
So you're not trading in?
No. So I got offered a trade-in and they
said no deal.
I said no deal. My Mazda is worth more. And I got like five and a half more than the trade-in deal. Yeah, so
that little effort, hey?
Little bit of effort, little bit of a interior detail and an add-on car sales will get you a long way.
But you stood your ground, and who did you sell it to?
On Saturday, a girl probably in her early 20s came with her dad, and she was a little strawberry blonde like me, and I felt like I was selling it to a past version of me,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I really was, and they were just
like,
so
I
nice.
Don't care. You're like, I don't care the price. You'll get in this car. I feel like for people who have said on this podcast as well that we don't really care for cars, it's not our biggest passion in life at all, and often treat them with a little bit of disrespect. We talk about cars a lot.
Well, I think this is a thing, is that I've always been like, I'm not a car person. Turns out I think I might be a car person.
You're a car person.
I really am. I am now. I know everything about the cars.
I also loved that during your buying process, you had been in collaboration with ChatGPT, but given ChatGPT a male persona to give you the facts straight about all the different car styles. Because normally our ChatGPT is a girl.
Yes.
Called Chatboo.
Yeah, Chatboo, she is really helpful, but my Chatboo boyfriend and I have been in serious discussions every night analysing every aspect of car ownership and purchase and depreciation and loans and chattel mortgages and blah, 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 engines, very comforting, but straight shooting. Yeah.
Straight shooting.
Yeah, he's been really helpful.
Love that. Okay, so now onto my personal, I have breaks plural.
Ooh, double break.
Well, I've actually noticed this phenomenon, which is happening in my life, which is when we have a Brand Odyssey record scheduled, bad things happen to me. It's like the universe, I've said this before, the universe is dealing me content and breaks.
And I appreciate that he sends it to you and not me.
Yeah, but it's happened more than once in the last 24 hours. They're your classic kind of life break situations, but I've had two happen, which was yesterday. This is the make part of my story. Yesterday was we went out and celebrated my mum and dad's 50th wedding anniversary. And we went up into the mountains to a winery, and we went with the cousins and the kids who were ranging from 3 to 9. This was a nice restaurant, nice winery restaurant. And we actually had, I would say, a successful lunch with the kids there, which is like, you just never know. But we got there, and it's only, to be fair, it's the older ones who were 5 and 9. They're kind of at the age now where they'll like sit and colour. So really, the weak link is my 3-year-old, Gus.
Yep.
But we
Gus
got there.
is always your break. It's always Gus themed. It doesn't mean that he necessarily makes the break, but he's just always involved. He's always a character in the story.
I think that maybe it's like that chaotic 3-year-old energy. Anyway, then we got there, and there was these beautiful trees in the outside area, and they were filled with harlequin bugs, which are these beautiful jewel Australian bugs. And then as they got bigger, they were beautiful bugs. Anyway, he loves bugs, so that was just right, that would be the equivalent of most kids going to a zoo. He was set and happy. And it did mean that people kind of took turns of being out there with him and the bugs.
Were the harlequin bugs the kind of bugs that you had in your car that time?
No, they were stink bugs.
Oh, okay.
There was a bit of something for everyone, and the food was nice. So it was wow, I think we just did that, and it wasn't awful or painful. So that was a success. But just as we were about to leave, I looked in my bag and saw my sunglasses were missing.
Oh, I hate losing sunglasses.
It's the worst. And also knowing that they're gone when you're still at the venue, and then going and asking the front desk. And then I went retraced my steps, but obviously we'd been just rampaging around. So they're gone.
They're gone? No redemptive arc.
No, didn't find them, but I've already bought some new ones.
Oh. Did you buy the same ones?
No, I bought the same brand though, and I got suckered into a 25% off sale.
Oh, excellent. Oh, are they the ones that I said I liked the other day?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
but now
nice.
they had the gold rim around, and I've just bought black. So they're
nice.
Black wire. Kind of not so sad about that part, but now I've got new ones. But yeah, very annoying. And then this morning, back to car news, got my coffee, opened my door, and just spilt it across the front seat, all across the handbrake. Just Butterfingers. It just went out my hand, flew out my hand all over the car. So, that's sees me mopping up coffee. It's the reverse effect you want from your coffee is cleaning it off your car.
You're right. That is exactly it. I spilt my coffee in the bathroom the other day. I was doing my makeup and then just spilt it everywhere. And it just goes everywhere.
I know. And then I was well, it's
every tiny, and then because I've got, bits and pieces on the counter, it was just all through that. Every single thing had to be, anyway.
There's actually nothing worse than spilling something, is there?
Because you don't get the thing, and you also have to do labor.
You have to do labor, spilling,
to get back to less than where you were, because you still don't have the thing.
If you're cooking in the kitchen and you drop, I don't know, I've dropped the soy sauce, you're just God damn it! It's you feel it so strongly. Such a big cleanup, and it takes you back. You were ready to get dinner done, and everything.
But then you don't even have the soy sauce.
It's just really miserable. A miserable time spilling anything. So, yeah. Anyway,
what have you got for me today?
Yeah, let's kick into the meat of the episode. So I have a make story, and I've got a little clue for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't necessarily, as usual, think it's going to lead to you guessing what I'm going to be talking about. But you are a proud Sydney woman.
I am.
You have quite a lot of city pride. And
yes.
I think you would agree, as a city, there's a lot of icons, important symbols for the city that people love. So I thought I'd just throw to you and say, what do you think the most recognisable icon to come out of Sydney, Australia is?
Opera House?
No, the Opera House. Who cares?
Oh, boring.
What else?
The Harbour Bridge?
No.
No.
That's just
Kyle and
you.
Jackie O.
That is a good one. I love that. Yeah, 2 Sydney icons.
Although I will say they are not top of my Sydney icon list.
They're just getting papped all the time. But yeah, 2 Sydney icons, not people. Look, I'll give you a little clue. It's edible.
Edible?
Okay, you're not going to guess it.
I'm not going to guess it. Sorry.
I think people will know it now, though. And if you don't, let's just give it a little Google. But it is the viral watermelon cake from Black Star Pastry. Yes.
Yes.
So that has also been given the moniker the world's most Instagrammable cake.
I didn't actually probably clock that was Sydney based.
Yeah, it's Sydney.
You know,
if
if someone had told me, oh, that started in Melbourne, I wouldn't kick off about it. Is all I mean. But now that you've said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it is. It's you're obviously not a true proud Sydney cider.
I know.
It's straight out of Newtown originally, and it is world famous. Like, not Australia famous. This cake.
It's world famous.
Yes, it's honestly.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so you can be a famous cake these days. Like, cake famedom can exceed human famedom, which is a funny concept, I think.
Yes. Yeah, the whole food going viral thing is a strange phenomenon, isn't it?
Yes, and it's getting bigger, I think, with TikTok now. It's bigger and bigger, but this was in the Instagram era, and I think that's why it was kind of one of the first to just go gangbusters.
Yeah.
And alongside the Momofuku milk bar. Do you know that one? It was kind of the first not iced cake where you can see all the sponge.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift recently had it as her birthday cake, which is quite funny because it kind of also went viral in the same era as the watermelon cake. So 2012.
But it's back. Like low-rise jeans.
Well, she had it last year and everyone was like, millennial choice. She got an old fashionable cake. But
that's so weird that cake is fashionable.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. And
my still go-to is just a Woman's Weekly children's cake book.
Yeah, that's had a revival, I think, as well. I think it probably lost fashion after the 80s, and then now because there's quite a lot of millennial parents, then they're making it for their kids' parties and stuff, and it's kind of come back, and we've made the Lion. Adam actually is our resident cake maker, and because I basically said, I'm out, I'm not doing it. If you want to make cakes from scratch, I'll buy them, but if you want homemade nostalgic cakes, you're in charge. And he's really good. He's made the Gruffalo, Minions.
They're not in the Women's Weekly cookbook though. Or is there an updated one?
No. Those are just random ones. But he made the only thing that went really pear-shaped was he made the car from the Women's Weekly and put it on Instagram. And I had people being like, is that binoculars? It just
didn't translate.
Yeah, but it's quite a construction. I can't do it. I think it's hard to achieve.
I recently, for my dad's birthday with my niece, she chose the elephant cake from the Women's Weekly cookbook, and very funny, I sent a photo to the family WhatsApp, when we were halfway through, we'd constructed it, we'd iced it, and we'd made the elephant pink. My brother's like,
oh no, I know what you're
what are you making?
I know what you're going with that.
Totally look like a penis.
Yeah, it's gone. Actually, speaking of that,
two big ears on the side and the trunk. I was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, Goldie, we got to decorate this pronto.
You made a giant wang for Dad's birthday. Well, it's actually a very good build for what cake means to us, which I'll touch on because, it's so significant and ritualistic and meaningful. It's a celebration. It's not like your other desserts. Cake's a bit more special. But anyway, I thought just moving into today and this era, current era, 2025, there are a lot of famous cakes kicking about. You have some near Bondi, don't you? Celebrity cakes.
Well, actually, it's not cake. They do cookies and matcha And then that's the cafe below me of South Bondi.
Mhm.
Shout out. They went viral a couple of years ago. And like when I got that office, it was pretty dead, like just average, you know. There are lines out the door every weekend, and now there's another one that's up the road called Sundays or something,
Yes,
and they
the
do
Cinnabon.
Cinnabuns, yeah.
Yes, I've
And
heard about this.
they're even longer lines. I have never been a line person. I just don't think I have the patience, and I'm not passionate enough about Cinnabuns. But like, it is crazy what people are willing to do for a cinnamon bun.
It is crazy, like waiting an hour for one piece of food. But yes, I think the watermelon cake, like I said, was like kind of the first to kick it off in this huge worldwide way. And I wanted
Yeah.
to look into what the fallout is from something like that. Like, how do the people behind the cake deal with that kind of notoriety? And how then do you capitalize on cake fame? So, when something like that happens, it's the good marketing and branding and also obviously operations that come in to either make that company go even bigger, or also potentially it could have some negative effects. So
this is a very interesting topic, Miranda. A
is,
bit left field.
You
Love it.
scratch the surface. And anyway, I thought I'd get quite formal and just give you a little top line agenda. I want to talk about why cake is so good and why it's kind of become a cultural obsession. I'll talk about the story of Black Star and the original creator, Christopher Tay. And then we'll go into the expansion era and the stunning 2023 rebrand by Studio Ongarado. Finally, the darker side of going viral. So what happens when your cake becomes more famous than you ever wanted? So that's just the top level. And should we kick it off with why cake's great? And I feel like we've already discussed some of this naturally, but there are two types of people out there. People who are like, cake, meh, and people who are like, I bloody love cake. So I sit in that one. Which one are you?
I also am, even though I'm not a sweet tooth, I'm always the first to be like, I'll make a cake or I'll bring cake. Blah, blah,
and
blah.
if you were like this hypothetically imaginary situation and you're taken into a room and you've got 6 dessert platters placed in front of you, one with cake, one with chocolate, one with lollies, one with donut, one with pastry.
Cake.
I was going to say ice cream.
No, definitely cake. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's cake as well.
I do like a lolly, but I think cake would take it. It's just something special, isn't it?
It's that special thing. But yeah, I don't think anyone's choosing donuts. Does anyone like donuts? Like, I don't understand the donut.
I don't mind a hot cinnamon donut.
Hot cinnamon donut, but iced donuts, like they're so like stodgy. Anyway, what I think sets cake apart, and we've discussed this from all those delicious platters, is the meaning we attach to it. So from your first birthday, cake is this symbol, it's a celebration. Corporate office events, for example, might have logo branded cupcakes. There's the wedding tiers, there's breakup cakes, gender reveal cakes, like all these different
smash cakes that people do. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. It's not just symbolic. It's this constantly evolving creativity, which I think all food has as well. Like, it's not just cake that is, evolves and creative, but there's these trends which are like kind of like fashion, and they reflect what we're craving aesthetically and, dare I say, emotionally, like, emotional trends in cake.
Yeah, we can say that.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, naked cakes, but have you noticed now it's more like gone back to this nostalgia cake with like the piping?
Yes. My sister had one of those for her wedding. Yeah. They're really
cool.
Cute. Yeah.
I definitely like this trend the most, I think, and like having those like that soft butter ice cream instead of like in the 80s, wedding cakes, for example, were like hard, thick, stuffy tiers with actual like little Greek columns propping them up. Like, actually, that kind of could be quite novelty. I also had a little memory. I know you've already discussed a bit of your own cake life experience, but I did have a memory when we worked in office in probably 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Lupe, your doggy, had a decade birthday, which demands a special cake. And he had a little, what was it?
Yeah, it was his double digits, and it was the only time I've ever bought him a dog cake, but I thought the double digits was the time for it. I think it was like a kangaroo inside, but it was like iced on the outside and like had a little bone on it. It was very cute. I think it was Vicky's first day. She must have thought, like, what is going on here?
I don't know. You'd either be like, this is the right place for me, or be like, no, this is I'm out.
And then like the whole team sang happy birthday to Lupe.
He was a staff member. He used to come in most days. He deserved it.
Did. Oh, bless.
It's like nothing's
Imagine
worse.
starting at a job and your first day you're forced to sing happy birthday to your boss's dog.
That's what I mean. I feel like you're either like, I'm 100% here for this or I'm out. But you haven't like built up the rapport to show that that's just one aspect of your personality. And it's funny as well, speaking of like office and cake, like there is absolutely nothing worse than having people in an office sing you happy birthday. Like that is the worst thing to happen on your birthday, is when you work in an office and like standing around awkwardly at a cheese. At one of my old offices, everyone got like a cheesecake shop cake. So I ate like a lot of cheesecake in that era, a lot. And like everyone had their favorites, but yeah, that moment where like no one's in tune, you can't make eye contact with anyone,
and
it's
no
mortifying.
one's singing it confidently. Everyone's like,
no one takes it from the team, except for like there was one guy that would just like, it became his thing. Like he was one of the Digimons, as we called them, so back-end developers, and quiet man. But when it came
to the birthday song,
but when it came to the birthday song, he's like, happy birthday, like just like full operatic. So anyway, as you can see, by more and more tangents, it's wild that something that's like just cake, like essentially it's just sugar, flour, water, but it's subject to trend cycles and like architecture, graphic design, cars, for example. To me, I'm like, who decides this? Like, who are the taste makers of cake? I don't know. I don't know who suddenly goes like out with tears, in with
nostalgia.
Like, I guess it's like often with trends, like it's a reaction to the previous trends, or a reaction to, with the naked cakes, for example, it's a reaction to the stuffy icing, like take it all off. And that's kind of like how we propel forward.
Yeah, then that nostalgia cake with the piped icing is like a reaction to that more minimalist naked cake. It's like the exact opposite of it.
Yeah, and that's like that, you can see that same pattern in like clothes as well, and like going from grunge to minimalism or whatever. Like that's kind of like how I think like fashion things work, is like looking and being like, no more. Actually, this is very much a tangent, but I recently saw that like pedal pushers might be coming back in. So I wore them when I was 12, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
No, we all have to draw a line somewhere. Mine is overalls, berets, and cargo pants.
Oh, mine is 100% cargo pants. Like I'm not,
and low-rise jeans. I'm not doing
low-rise jeans is a no, but like none of my pants will have additional
side pockets. Strictly 5 pockets is my maximum.
Yes. So anyway, pedal pushers. Let's add that to the pants. I feel less strongly about cake trends. Like if tiered cakes were going to come back in fashion, I'd be like,
yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'll take cake in whatever form it wants to be in.
Yeah, me too. Okay, to Black Star. So a mini history on Black Star and the viral cake that sort of kicked off them being more of your household bakery name. So Christopher Tay is the original founder of Black Star Pastry, and he opened it in 2008 after cutting his chops in some of Sydney's top restaurants. So before launching his own restaurant, he was working in, some of the most acclaimed kitchens in Sydney, like Claude's and Key, and he really honed his technique. I don't know, I think it was across all different types of food, not just pastry, but he also sort of grew this deep respect of ingredients and storytelling through food. So I listened to a podcast with him, which, you know, you were able to see that as a creative, he just comes across very intentional and he's concept and thought driven and someone who like really genuinely enjoys his medium of food. But this creativity comes out in lots of areas. So a little tidbit of the Black Star story was the name is actually because as he was painting the shop, he was listening to Radiohead. So kind of like a little bit of a cool kid. And like you can see that creativity running through. And he said, you know, it wasn't like he deeply thought about it, but it's just like, I think someone who lives a kind of creative life, that style of guy. So anyway, he did not.
Sorry, but what's the Black Star Radiohead thing?
It's a song.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, which he was listening to while he was painting the shop. Just like a little nice little founder story element there. So he definitely, you know, set out to create his own shop, which is amazing, and be like their lead something new and innovate. But I definitely don't think he sort of ever thought his trajectory. He couldn't have imagined what was going to happen, and he didn't set out to make an Instagram famous cake. He made the cake for a friend's wedding, and I think he definitely wanted it to be something special and put maybe more thought into this particular piece of cake art. Have you tried it? Did I ask you that?
Oh, yeah, I love it. Like, it is a really nice cake.
It's
I
pretty
enjoy
yummy.
it. Because it's not so rich. I think that's it, like for a non-sweet tooth.
Well, actually, even the cake itself is kind of like a little bit like wholemeal. Like it's not like, it feels quite organic and almost a little bit good for you. And obviously it has watermelon in it.
Yeah.
And then layers of this almond dacqua and rose-scented cream, strawberries. So it was very sort of fresh and entirely unique, this sort of layering the style. It was very unique at the time and unique for his style across some of his other cakes as well. But the internet had other plans for him and people started photographing it, sharing it, and suddenly Black Star, it wasn't just like a little inner west bakery in Sydney, it was a cake destination. So this is world famous as well, and people are like putting it on their like icebergs, Pitt Street, Inner West Black Star. I mean, Burke Street Bakery is another one we know that like tourists come to stop at, but it exploded and there was like queues out the doors. And
so when did this happen?
It sort of started, he said, in 2012, but It just kept getting bigger and bigger. Christopher Tay, is someone who came from a background of artisanal craft and small scale expression. As much as this like was amazing for him, it sort of started to feel like the cake was becoming bigger than him. Like he couldn't separate himself from the cake. And I can imagine like anyone who's quite creative and likes experimenting and innovative, you start becoming to know.
It's like a golden prison.
Yes. And I think that was along with like not expecting that level of growth and attention, like he went from artist to kind of like operator. And the podcast I mentioned up before, the podcast I listened to, it's called The Year That Made Me, and it's on ABC if anyone wants to go listen after this. If you want to extend your Black Star listening, I suggest. It was he was really lovely to listen to. Like I said, I think he's very like humble but hardworking and impressive. But he gets asked to say what the year is that made him. And he didn't choose 2012 when his famous cake exploded. He actually chooses 2019, which is the year he kind of sold and stepped away from Black Star.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that obviously...
Plot twist.
But I guess like stepping away from something that's become like, he says in this interview, like it's like he didn't know where Black Star finished and he, you know, like it was like...
I can relate to that, yeah.
And he even sort of called himself like Black Star. He gave himself like a Black Star nickname. Like
a superhero kind of alter ego.
Yes, and I guess like stepping away, as hard as it would have been, allowed him to go back to the thing that he liked doing, which was have an artisanal, well-loved bakery producing.
So has he done that again?
Yes, he has. Oh, so he's actually got like another bakery called Hearth in Stanmore, and I saw recently he has a book out for that, and he this is what I really was impressed me about him as well, is he's now has this focus on using Australian ingredients. So lily pilly, for example, and he just speaks about it with like such eloquency and like experimentation and like the idea of bringing Australian ingredients, native ingredients, and like showing respect to that and like making it more commonplace so that like, you know, we're able to acknowledge that aspect of Australiana in a way. And like it's this huge big fusion of culture like as well, which I really love. So I think that, you know, he was stifled under watermelon cake obsession. And then on top of that, you know, marketing, commerce, expansion, expectations, like you'd be silly not to jump on that viral fame. But, you know, he just wanted a nice neighborhood cafe to express himself.
The cafe under me that's gone viral for their cookies and their matcha, I see them like I walk in and out through the back door and they're just like in there 24/7 cooking cookies, like the same 5 cookies over and over again. I'm like, this must be, you know, they're weighing the dough, blah, blah, blah. It just must be so repetitive, like. But then also then there's this place up the road that's got cinnamon buns. So then it's like, you know, you've got to give the people what you want, but you've got to be innovating and like, what's the next big thing? It must be, a lot of pressure.
Well, I would say that that's another reason why I chose this as my make was under the pressure of watermelon cake fame. They've been hugely successful at their branding evolution, and I think they're offering something very beautiful and unique in that space. So that brings me to my next chapter, which is the amazing rebrand era under the new owner, Louis Lee, by Studio Ongarado. Obviously, the show had to go on, and Louis Lee is who came in as a sort of creative director and partner before Christopher Tay ultimately decided to leave. And he's a force in himself. So I didn't know much about, I had heard of him. I've heard of Jackalope. Had you heard of Jackalope Hotels?
No.
So he's a hotelier, and Jackalope, I think, is in Mornington Peninsula, and it's this very like uber modern, cool, arty 5+ star hotel. I guess he's an entrepreneur in the hotel arena. I found a little article online which is called How I Melbourne, Louis Lee. So
couldn't be cooler than that.
No, couldn't be cooler than How You Melbourne. His name is listed Louis Lee, and then creative director, hotelier, and vineyard owner. I was like, what a flex. Like
massive.
I wish that was my LinkedIn bio.
Well, you can make it your LinkedIn bio. No one's going to check.
Fake it till you make it. Anyway, so a quote from this is, how does he impress friends in Melbourne? He said, take them to the NGV to see a current exhibition, then make a short walk over the bridge to Hosier Lane to appreciate some street art, a dinner at Supernormal with my all-time favourite lobster roll. So you can see he likes the good stuff. He likes art, loves excellent food. So I think if there was someone to sort of like capitalise on Black Star watermelon fame, he's a very good choice.
He's got a high taste level.
He's got a high taste level, and I think he was like, he's personally, from what I gathered through my readings, is he's very personally invested in the brand. Like he's not just a bankroll, he's like into the idea of food and culture and art, and he wanted to like combine those forces into this brand, and he's very successfully done so. So one of the biggest notches in his belt as the creative director was the 2023, which is very recent, rebrand by Studio Ongarado. It won the Pinnacle Award in AGDA, which is basically the best in show. And I think I remember us looking at it together and just being like, oh my God.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I'm just refreshing my memory now. But yeah, it's really interesting because it's so black and white.
Yes, it's got only just a little pop of pale pink or mint sometimes.
Yes, it's got a lot of charm to it, doesn't it? Like charm and personality and allure.
Yeah, so I'll just describe it, but hop on the Instagram and have a quick look, or on their website as well. Basically, it was designed and commissioned a Japanese illustrator called Noritake, and Noritake's style are these sort of like black and white, cartoon, simple, flat vector drawings. Very cute. they sort of created these ambassadors of the brand. So they've got the Black Star boy who has a little black star over his eye, and they've got a hedgehog with like little stars that make up the spiky bits on the back. They serve as the like creative elements of the brand, which I think is an unusual choice for a bakery.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting how they've balanced, it is he's really cute. Like the little hedgehog is really cute, but it still feels like edgy or something. Like I think the black star over his eyes,
Little rock star, little
rock
David
star.
Bowie.
Yeah, a bit of a David Bowie vibe, and it's pulled back. Maybe that's why the black and white works, because you've got that kind of cutesy kind of ambassador and then, or mascot, I should say, and then
simplicity
and like really, refined typography, and it all kind of melds together.
The website as well, like that's the bit I think we were like, oh, this is, because it's like incredibly conceptually driven, where it's like you basically go on the website and it's like looking down at a poker table of cards, and it's got the ambassadors on the cards, and as you click over them, they flip over and tell you that's the navigation of the website. So it's almost gamified on their website, and so simple, all black and white. Like what I like about this brand is like they've made, like you said, they've made it really cutesy, but by like ditching all the conventions of typical branding for bakeries, it's almost like a little act of rebellion in itself. Like it's like
rebellion is a good word for it.
Yeah, so it's like cute, but it has like this big player energy,
and so distinct from any other bakery, as you say. Like it really sets itself apart as a big player.
That's what I thought. It feels like if you wanted to make your marketing as shareable as your shareable cake, then this brand does that. And that was not like, if that was the brief, that's not easy to achieve. That would have been a good brief.
And even the website is so cool that it feels so modern, but it also reminds me of kind of a day gone past with the website, because it's not just your typical click on it, roll, 3 buttons, where do you want to go? Like it's really conceptual, and you just don't see that often.
No, I agree with you. I think that like in 2010, websites would like doing this more gamified style of like random homepages, like whereas like that's gone in this day and age. So agree with that. Like it's doing its own thing, which I love. So
the good old future retro.
Yeah.
Like it feels so modern, but it's got this kind of nostalgic, like intimate feel.
So it deserves its accolades, and we love it. And that was, to be honest, that was really why I chose this as a topic, was I was just like, I just like that brand. It's so pretty. The illustrations are so good.
Sorry, one more comment as well. Just the way that it relies on illustration so heavily as well, but works so well. Like I think people sometimes feel like they need to have a lot of photography. You don't see that watermelon cake.
You do on the social media, of course, but like
of course, but sorry, I'm looking more on the website. Like you don't see it.
Oh, well, that's what I was thinking. Like imagine like they could have gone the other way. They could have had like a photo of the watermelon cake, and it would say world's most Instagrammable cake on a t-shirt. Like they didn't do that. Like they're like very, I think, intentional in making their brand not the watermelon cake, which is longevity.
Or relying on beautiful photography of the cake. Yes. That would be an obvious choice, right? And they have just rejected that completely and have these
mascots.
Yeah.
Like that sounds good, but I think more and more people, and I don't know if you've noticed this on Instagram, but I'm seeing like small businesses online, when they're posting their little like founder bios and like their personal content, it's like a revolt against huge scaling and following, like talking about slow growth and building reputation and quality rather than going viral, because it's largely a fluke. And not only is it like it's not like a sustainable way to build a business, and it can make you feel out of control. So it's like quite bad for business, but they don't see that as almost like a responsible way to build a business. Have you seen a bit of that?
I have, yeah. I don't know whether it's because I'm in small business, so I get fed that content, but I certainly have felt, because I think early on in my career owning the business, I did feel that pressure to scale, scale, scale. And I never did because I knew it would come with, well, I mean, I say that, but I consciously always thought small business would be the way for me because I still love designing the thing. So,
Yeah, it's
and
like
being
the
involved in the
craft.
process. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't give that up.
It's hard, isn't it, to think about
Yeah.
becoming manager,
Operational.
operational. I mean, that happens in all careers, I think, as well. Like, it's like the higher you get up, you stop doing your skill. And I think that's honestly what happened in this situation, is like that wasn't his desire or his passion. And I think businesses, like, when something like that happens, and I mean, viral stuff can happen to people all the time, and they get this like pressure and attention, and also maybe like lose their identity to the viral moment.
A good one to look, I mean, let's not dive into it, but just as a reference point is Sophia Amoruso, who owned Nasty Gal. And she
Yes.
kind of went from selling clothes on eBay, vintage clothes on eBay. It scaled into this huge thing. I'm going to say $100 million business. She had CEOs, then it went bankrupt. She's the inventor of the word girl boss. So
I remember that era. Yeah.
And then she got like a whole bunch of flack for that when the girl boss era was over. But at the time, girl boss was, I mean, I related to it and it really helped me, like the way that she expressed that. But then it did have its moment and it was over. But anyway, I follow her on Instagram and she's kind of given it all up and she runs her own small sustainable business now in venture capital. She's like given up all her kind of worldly possessions and moved to London. Like
she's had a reaction against that situation, quite a strong one.
Yeah. So her journey is really interesting on that as well.
Yeah, I think with hospitality, and it's like what you described with the restaurant, I noticed that as well below you, is like I used to go through and it was just a normal kitchen. And then like recently I came to Sydney, went through and I was like, I was like, well, one, it smelled delicious because they're baking so much stuff. But I was like, oh my God, like they are going hardcore. So it's like they'll have to like relook at their whole business model, like hire more people. You will have social media algorithms dictating what they can cook next. And suddenly like the crowds are onto the next celebrity cake. Yes, I'm making it a thing, celebrity cake. So they're all up at the cinnamon donut and suddenly your store's empty and you've got all this extra stuff. Like it's not necessarily a great, like, unless you're very, very smart and you capitalized on it with a multi-millionaire, billionaire, Louis Lee creative director. But, not everyone has that level of fame or opportunity either. Like I think it can go wrong. So I found an interesting quote from freelance food journalist Shane Bardos in a GQ article called Bite Sized. Does making a restaurant go viral actually help them? By Karen Leon. And she says, how do you manage a 50-person line before the doors even open? Can they meet the expectations of customers who've had their excitement piqued by a slow-mo 4K HD reel of their food? Can they take care of their employees who are working under the pump? At the same time, customers also play a role. Can they approach these viral spots with patience, curiosity, and a bit of grace, rather than just seeing them as a checklist moment? So we're in weird times, aren't we? Like, I feel like we're in an era where social media is dictating our odd cake-driven line-forming behaviors. Like,
that's a great way to put it.
It's weird. Like, where does the social media end and our behavior begin now? Like, we're just in a weird world. It's here to stay. It's an important, ever-existing part of our life, and it does bring a lot of connection. So what I thought is we actually, friend of the show and a good friend of you, Kylie Hannaford, Jara Brayley, actually, she has a digital marketing business, Jam Packed, which we actually at 3 Blocks Left did a little rebrand for a couple of years ago. But she has one of her key clients is Black Star. So I thought to extend, we might get her in for a little bonus episode to talk about like marketing in food, because I think it's very interesting, and virality. Is that a word? Virality?
I mean, you've made celebrity cake a word, so maybe let's just go with it. There are no rules on Brand Honesty.
Virality and the celebrity cake will be our bonus episode with Jara
cool.
Brayley.
I love that idea. Oh, Jara's the best.
Yeah. So on that note, that is my make, breaky, cakey, black and white story. Or Blackstar.
I love it. Thank you. I'm going to go and eat some cake now.
Oh, yeah, you can go get it.
We're from 3 Blocks Left. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
And that is it for today. Thank you to each and every one of you for listening. We're super keen to get to know our listeners, and so we'd love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or feedback or any stories of your own, your career make or breaks that we could read out on our episodes, we would love you to get in touch. All the ways you can contact us are in the show notes, or simply go to our website, 3blocksleft.com.au. Thanks for listening.
And so ends another expedition into the lands of brands, brought to you by design and brand agency 3 Blocks Left.